Good morning, my fellow yoga travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, and linger while we live the life we love. Today, I want to talk about emancipated innocence, that part of us that is the second naivete, the part of us that still has that drop of goodness deep down inside ourselves that can never be marred or changed. Babies remind us of the beauty within us all. Perhaps life has fooled you into thinking you've lost your innocence, but that pure love and light is still within, and your job is to let go of the thoughts and heal the wounds that trick you into believing that you're less lovable than you were as a small child. New Buddha baby breaks the mold each time it comes in. So as we get older, we have to deal with what I call self-confrontation, self-reformation, and self-transformation. You look at the stuff that's holding you back, you confront it, and then you begin to grow in a different way, right? If you're willing to confront yourself, then you're willing to reform yourself. And if you're willing to reform yourself, you're willing to transform yourself. And so some of this has to do with getting down to doing the work, which is why I like to use the story of the shoemaker and the elves. You know, once there was a shoemaker who was down to his last piece of leather, didn't know what he was doing. He was just so upset about the thought of like being so poor that he was just too tired to do anything and just went to bed. And anyway, when we woke up in the morning, there was a new pair of shoes, boots, beautifully stitched in a style that he never did before himself. And he was marveling at how wonderful they were and how did they get there when all of a sudden a person walked into the shop, looked at the boots and said, oh, they're perfect. They're exactly the size, color, and shape I wanted. And so off he went. And now with this little bit of extra money, he went and bought more leather. And then all of a sudden, the same thing happened. He left the leather out. And for the next day and every day after that, he'd come back and there'd be new shoes and slippers and boots. And each time they would be sewn magnificently with different colors and different shapes and different styles. And he just let it keep on going. And every time he'd do it, people would walk into the shop and say, that's exactly the size, that's exactly the shape, that's exactly the color. And all of a sudden, his business was really thriving. And as it was getting towards Christmas, his wife turned to him and said, don't you think this is kind of strange that we leave the leather out and all of a sudden it's done in the morning? He said, yeah. I said, well, listen, it's going to be Christmas Eve. Why don't we hide behind the counter after we put the leather out and see what's going on? So that's what they did. And of course, what happened is when it came to be midnight, the windows flew open and two elves, naked as jaybirds, they flew in on a sunbeam. They danced around the leather, got right to work, and made the most incredible, beautiful shoes and boots. And then off they flew in a moonbeam again, laughing and dancing and having fun. Ah, now the shoemaker and his wife understood what was happening. So the wife said, you know, it's getting to be kind of cold now, and they're completely naked. Don't you think we should make little outfits for them as a little gift to say thank you? It's a good idea. So that's what they did. They made a vest and boots and shoes and hat and everything. They left it for, and the next night when they left the material out, yes, the elves came in again dancing on a moonbeam, naked as jaybirds. And all of a sudden, when they saw the outfits, they were thrilled. They said, oh, we don't have to be cobblers anymore. We can just be like regular boys. And they put on their outfits and they flew around the room again and off they went on a moonbeam. And they didn't come back and they didn't do the shoes. But now the shoemaker, having observed what they were doing all this time, upped his game. His skill set improved. And you know what? They never came back, but they didn't have to come back because the shoemaker learned a very valuable lesson about not letting magic be the sole arbiter of how your life turns out, but be willing to put in really hard work. So I hope you get the gift because that'll help you if you do your spiritual path and take back your own emancipated innocence. And then you'll see other things happening, like you'll be a wise fool. You'll know that the 8 healing salves of singing, dancing, laughter, storytelling, good food, being out in nature, doing some yoga or body work, and then silence. That's going to help regenerate you tremendously. And so lead yourself to holy leisure. Find a place where every day you can relax in silence and have a moment of peace. Right? You don't have to be in the social net every moment. Step out of the whirligig of life and find that inner place, like that Buddha nature within yourself. Sit silently. Sticks and stones may break bones, but words can hurt forever. And then when you come back out to the world, use your speech wisely to heal and uplift. And then find the place, whether it's in a sacred architecture of a church, a mosque, a kanka, a temple, or just nature itself. Get out of what's profane outside of the temple. Find out what's regenerative for you and spend some time immersing yourself there. And then remember the autobiography, right? I walk down the street, there's a hole in the sidewalk. I fall in, I'm lost, I'm helpless, but it isn't my fault. It takes a long time to get out. Chapter 2, walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. Fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place. But it isn't my fault. Still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it's still there. I still fall in. It's a habit. But my eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4, I walk down the same street. There's a hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5, I walk down another street. So find the water of life. Take that little sip of nourishment that brings you vitality, revives you. Make your prayer from there. And then do your own sweat lodge. Spend some time turning up the Bunsen burner of your inner spiritual life. Learn what you need to accept. Learn what you need to thank. Learn what you need to forgive. Learn who you need to bless. And then, as my friend George says, I know I'm a yogi when I keep stacks of autobiography of a yogi around the house and give it out constantly to people. When people say they need regrooving, I say, read this because it cuts to the heart of every religion. It's one of the suggestions I make for helping you to re-enchant the world. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you soon.